anniversary of diplomatic relations on 9 June 2025, we had organized various commemoration activities with the Philippine Embassy in Beijing and the Chinese Embassy in Manila, along with the Filipino-Chinese organizations, because we still feel that basically the real foundation of our relationship is on the people-to-people exchanges. And we remain to this day committed to pursue a comprehensive strategic cooperation on the basis of mutual benefit and mutual respect as two equal sovereign states. And we remain to be committed to our long-standing policy of open and active engagement with China as a close neighbor. And we continue to be guided by the foundation principle again that we have a long history of friendship with the Chinese people, sir. So maybe there are episodes, really, some pockets of issues that we're now facing, but I think it's really very important that in our chairship, we will remain to use the primacy of dialogue and diplomacy in all our undertakings, vis-a-vis not only with China but with the rest of the world. Because as the President said, it will remain to be friends to everybody and enemies to none. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Opo, just as a manifestation, kasi lately, naging matigas po ang ating tono pagdating po sa pag-assert ng ating teritoryo. At ito po ba ay nakatulong sa pag-aano natin, sa pag-assert ng teritoryo, lalo lang nating ginagalit ang ating kapitbahay. Ang ano ko kasi, ang sa akin lamang po, baka we might be sending a strong, a wrong message to our youth na a sense of nationalism or being nationalistic is being adverse or hostile to China. Baka yun ang tinuturo po natin sa ating mga kabataan. Ganun po ba ang ating gustong iparating na kamalayan ng a strong sense of nationalism is being anti-China? Samantalang sa kabilang banda, tayo naman ay patuloy pa rin tumatangkilik ng mga serbisyo na more or less China-made or China-infused ang capital. Like GCash, Shopee, TikTok, Temu, at dyan, kung pupunta kayo sa kalsada natin, bawat 5 metro may BYD na sasakyan, which is I think a flagship automotive car maker ng China. So, hindi ko po maintindihan kung ano po ang gusto nating ituro na sa mga kabataan. Sometimes, mayroon pong mga pumupunta sa mga universidad, ganito dapat, ipaglaban, but do we have the capability? Number one. Number two, ito ba ang tamang itinuturo natin na sense of nationalism para sa ating mga kabataan? Yun lang po.
Your Honor, maraming salamat po doon sa inyong statement na yon. Isa lang po masasabi ko na to respond to that. The West Philippine Sea, this issue natin sa katubigan, is not the sum total of our relations. In other words, alam po yan ng ating mga kaibigan sa China that ito pong mga nangyayari sa tubig, the dispute, is one part. But the rest, trade, if you look at trade statistics, trade is robust with China. Of course, investments have really gone down. So, but continues pa rin ho, like we have with DOST, may mga projects so on oceanographic, maritime areas, continues po sa ASEAN. In ASEAN, we have a very strong discussions, healthy and robust relations. In fact, we're looking forward for this ASEAN summit, ASEAN chairship, because China will be a very important dialogue country. So sa paningin po ng kagawaran ng panlabas, hindi po, iba po yung paningin namin. Ito nga yung sinasabi ng Pangulo na lahat ay mga kaibigan natin. At ito po tinatabi po namin sa isang lugar. As I said, it's not, the dispute in the waters is not the sum total of our relations. Madami ho yan. People to people, very healthy po yan. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Mr. Chair, that's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Marcoleta. May we call on the next interpellator from the majority, Representative Munir Arbison Sr. Sir, you have 5 minutes.
Ay, maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. Magandang hapon sa ating lahat. This representation would just like to inquire from Madam Secretary if the DFA has the number of jailed Filipino in Sabah, Malaysia. It so happened that most of the jailed Filipino are from Sulu.
Thank you po. Your Honor, I would request my colleague from Assistant Secretary for Asia Pacific Affairs to respond.
Good afternoon po, Your Honors. According to our records...
Ma'am, I'm sorry, you have to speak closer to the microphone so we can hear you.
Good afternoon po, Your Honors. According to our records and our embassy and our posts, we were informed that there are currently none. There are a number of Filipinos that are in detention for some sort of entry violations, and we are currently still checking how many are currently imprisoned as per your question po. So if you give us some time just to dig out the information, sir, we'll revert to you immediately po.
Thank you for the information. We know for the fact that we do not have any political or diplomatic ties with Sabah. Pero sana matulungan natin yung mga kababayan natin doon kahit maglagay lang tayo ng monitoring team to see to it na magandang kalagayan nila.
Your Honor, gusto ko po sagutin yun. Ang embassy po natin sa Kuala Lumpur, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, has given and devoted a lot of its time. In fact, half of the staff complement has always been directing its work towards Sabah. And almost on a monthly basis, nagpupunta po yung mga taga-embassy sa Sabah and trying to provide them with consular assistance. Karaniwan po kasi is wala sila mga dokumento. So tumutulong din po ang ibang mga ahensya ng gobyerno tulad ng PSA to provide them with documents and then binibigyan po sila ng pasaporte. Nagkakaroon po rin ng mga situations na dadalhin sila tapos sa isang lugar at babalik sila sa Mindanao, certain parts of Mindanao. Ano po yun? It's a continuing process. Pati ho ako, na nakikipag-uusap po ako sa during our bilateral consultations at hinihingi namin na bigyan ng tamang paningin at aruga ang ating mga Pilipino who are in that situation. Hindi pa lang po masyadong naayos pero we're going towards that direction. Hopefully po we'll be able to give you some kind of results, tangible results on how we take care of our Filipinos in that area at the appropriate time.
Madam Secretary, maraming salamat at sana ma-realize natin yun kasi as reported, may mga na-detain doon ng mga siguro mga 5 years na yung iba second 2 years na. So sana matulungan natin ito. Hindi naman ito mga drug related pero ano lang sila yung naghahanap buhay lang doon.
Sir, I'd like to take on that particular issue, Mr. Secretary. Does that mean that there's no concrete assistance and action that we extend to these detained Filipinos in Sabah?
Assistance, definitely. I'll even go beyond taking care of their documentation. There's even our Department of Health provides vaccination to the young.
As to the detained
To the
Filipinos in Sabah, as mentioned by Congressman Arbison, I believe I heard also that there are quite a number of Filipinos who are from Sulu, yes, and trying to enter Sabah. Unfortunately, without lack of proper documentation, that's why they were detained in Sabah. But they were there in the detention facility for, again, according to Congressman Orbison, 5 years. And since we're asking the FA what exactly is the status of all these detained Filipinos, what assistance have we provided them, legal assistance, etc., so that we can facilitate the immediate release of this detention? How do we go about with Malaysia? How do we coordinate with our embassy in Malaysia in order that we can secure the release of these detained Filipinos? So we don't have a data on that.
Meron ba? Meron daw ba?
Yes, please po. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I have now certain statistics here as to the time serving, those who are serving sentence, that's about 1,730, and 543 are detained. 3,846 are immigration cases. So this is the statistics, but I just have to assure you that our embassy in KL is very much on top of this. Legal assistance is being provided because we have the legal assistance fund, which Congress has kindly provided us. So except that this is continuous discussions with our Malaysian
Counterparts.
counterparts.
But I hope our embassy in Malaysia and I hope the FA can really put this as one of their priorities. We don't want to cause any other, further, cause further trouble. At least diplomatically, you know what I mean, Madam Secretary.
Yes, Your Honor.
These people are Filipinos, though they may lack certain documents, but they are natural-born Filipinos. And sabi nga ni Congressman Orbison, unfortunately, their livelihood, they rely so much on their income and livelihood with trading with Malaysia. So I hope that our embassy there can facilitate and perhaps can extend help to these detained individuals, Filipino citizens. And maybe we can put this as one of our talking points with Malaysia. Maybe we can make this as one of our priorities with Malaysia.
Yes, Your Honor,
please,
definitely.
Thank you.
I just
personally appeal to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go
Make this
further,
a
and
priority.
if you allow us, we'll give you a document that clearly stipulates
Thank you.
all that we have done for our Filipinos in Sabah.
Thank you. Thank you po, Madam Secretary.
Maraming salamat, Madam Chair.
Thank you,
Maraming salamat,
thank you,
Chair.
Congressman Arbison. So we proceed to the next interpellator from the minority, Representative Iris Montes. Thank you. Ma'am, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon po. Good afternoon, Madam Secretary. Mr. Chair, we are pleased that after more than 2 decades, another woman is once again at the helm of the Department of Foreign Affairs. However, we are expecting more from Madam Secretary in terms of the attention to be given to the plight of our women OFWs and their families. Bilang kinatawan po ng party list na nagrepresenta ng kababaihan, nais ko pong bigyang diin ang kahalagahan ng malinaw at sapat na pondo sa panukalang 2026 budget ng departamento para sa kapakanan ng ating mga kababaihang OFW at kanilang pamilya. Alam naman po natin na sila ang nakakaranas ng pang-aabuso, minamaltrato, nalalagay sa alanganing sitwasyon at tungkulin ng pamahalaan na tiyakin ang kanilang proteksyon at kagalingan. So I have several questions, Mr. Chair. On the department's budget allocation and priorities, how much of the DFA's proposed 2026 budget is specifically earmarked for programs and services benefiting women OFWs and their